Now, y'all gotta bear with me for this next topic. It's a proud moment, but I still feel like I'm a vet. Last night on Monday Night Raw, we just saw Oba Femi become a superstar. This is how you make stars. And I'll be the first one to admit that I was very concerned on how the WWE was going to handle Oba Femi. I don't see how you could not get it right. And last night, everything was perfect. I even got a salute to Brock Lesnar for being a part of that moment. What we all just saw was a part of history. Brock Lesnar just passed the torch. And now it's been going viral how Oba Femi seemed to have shed a tear after this big moment. Oba Femi wasn't the only one to get emotional after his big moment. Just like when Kofi Kingston won his first and only WWE Championship. For me and a lot of people that look like me, that's a historic moment. I would like to think it's the same for the entire wrestling world. I even seen a clip online where MVP was watching Kofi win that championship with former WWE superstar Chad Gaspar. Chad Gaspar passed away saving his son and will always be remembered as a hero. So salute to that legend. He was with MVP watching Kofi win that championship and they got emotional. And even though Oba Femi didn't win a championship last night, having that type of moment against a dangerous ass opponent like Brock Lesnar, that's like winning the championship at WrestleMania. And that's because you don't see a lot of black wrestlers get that moment. The same Kofi Kingston that we all got emotional about when he won the title is the same Kofi Kingston that Brock Lesnar threw all around the ring in 3 seconds flat and took that same WWE Championship. We seen Omos not even last 10 minutes against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Shelton Benjamin was a teammate of Brock Lesnar in college. And at the 2020 Royal Rumble, they embraced for a small second in that match, right before Brock Lesnar heaved his ass out the ring. So not only was this the biggest moment of Oba Femi's career at this point, this might be the only time that a black man has been able to whoop Brock Lesnar's ass. I don't know what everybody thinks about this or how anybody else feels, because I've talked about the way black wrestlers are booked in WWE and pointing out the main fact that a lot of black wrestlers don't get proper representation. We've celebrated all of the great wrestlers in the sport. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Sting, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, John Cena, Edge. The list goes on, but there's not a lot of black wrestlers that's really looked at as legends in that way. What black wrestlers could you even put on that list? And I'm not just talking about getting a participation award, which is the equivalent of winning a few mid-card titles and a championship or two. If you want to try to add a black wrestler to that legends list just for the sake of sounding fair, maybe you can say Booker T, but I have a lot of thoughts about that might be very unpopular. And I don't want to try to get too much into that with tonight being Booker T Appreciation Night. Now, I'm a fan of Booker T just like any other wrestling fan, but I'm not going to lie. I don't think you could put Booker T on that list that I mentioned with the Bret Harts and the Shawn Michaels or Hulk Hogan. That's probably why Booker T went off on Hulk Hogan and he slipped up and called him the N-word. As crazy as this shit is about to sound, and without me trying to take a shot at Booker T, to me, I feel like Booker T's career is like a DEI hire. There was almost no black wrestler on top of wrestling at that time. Affirmative action was a real thing in this country. This is not to say that Booker T isn't talented and doesn't deserve to be one of the most decorated champions in the history. To my understanding, Booker T has held over 50 championships. And it would be completely irresponsible to try to disregard his career. So that's not what this is. But if you're getting familiar with Worldwide Classic, I say it how it needs to be said, and I give you a different lens to look through. I'm glad that the WWE takes care of Booker T, because I noticed that Booker T goes to war for WWE. No matter what article, rumor, or report that I read, I always see Booker T chime in defense for his home team. Maybe I'm just being an asshole, but I feel like after some of his interactions on screen with Triple H, He deserves to be taken care of by WWE. The WWE might appreciate Booker T, but they didn't think enough of Booker T to put the WWE Championship on Booker T. The time that Booker T did win a world title, it was the same World Heavyweight Championship that he had 5 times before in WCW. Now, like I said earlier, this is the same WWE that put Mickie James belonging inside of trash bags on her way out of the company. Booker T's situation is far from a trash bag scenario, but I still think that was some type of inside joke to only have Booker T win the same title that he had already had in WCW and never get close to seeing the WWE Championship. So do I put Booker T on the same Legends list as next to somebody like, I don't know, a Stone Cold Steve Austin? Hell no. Especially when Stone Cold Steve Austin was the one that whooped Booker T's ass all over the supermarket. And in that is the issue and the dilemma that I revolve right back into. It's the R-Truth treatment. It's the comic relief. Why is a world-class professional wrestler inside of a supermarket while a nationwide wrestling television show is on TV? But WWE never showed Booker T in a serious way. So to me, it wasn't shit funny. Even when Booker T won the World Heavyweight Championship, he was King Booker. He was a characterization of himself. WWE had Booker T doing a lot of silly ass shit. Like the Spinneroonie. Just saying it is some bullshit. Can you dig it, sucker? What the hell is this, a 1960 black exploration film? I'm glad Booker T is a legend. I just don't know if you could really put him on that list with the greats. Bobby Lashley could have been somebody on that list, but you see how quickly they got him the hell up out of there. Along with MVP and Shelton Benjamin. 2 more guys that we can add to a list of what could have been. Shelton Benjamin had every tool in the toolbox. He just didn't know how to unlock the creativity for a bunch of writers that didn't see what he was really worth to the company. You could say the same thing about MVP. So even when you have black candidates that you could put on that true legends list, the WWE turns into broken Matt Hardy. And just like that, they ass is deleted. And since we're getting deep into this particular topic, I even want to talk about Ron Simmons for just a little bit. First of all, I have to issue an apology to Ron Simmons. I did not know that you were the man. And I hate that, because how the hell would I have known when the WWE had Ron Simmons be Farouk running around in a silver helmet looking weird as hell? I'm a kid watching this, so I'm not knowing the ins and outs of the business. That there are people writing this so-called character, because I don't even know what the hell that was supposed to be. I'm just thinking that this is some black man that they found that's clearly lost his damn mind. And in hindsight, knowing what I know now as an adult, that's kind of an injustice once you really know who Ron Simmons is. And this is the 90s I grew up in. So the Monday Night Wars was in full effect. So I was watching just as much WCW. And for a long time, they failed to mention that Ron Simmons was the first black champion in that company. It wasn't until much later that I saw Ron Simmons power slam Vader to win that championship. That's just as important as Kofi Kingston winning his championship. And watching Oba Femi step into that spotlight, power bombing Brock Lesnar, it feels like a full circle moment. Especially when they let Ricky Stark beat him for the NXT championship. I thought that was insane and irresponsible. I said that it didn't make sense and that they could have switched it up and had Oba Femi just vacate the title and still be the man heading into the main roster. Isn't that kind of ironic that they had Oba Femi go back to NXT to do exactly what I suggested? So like I say, if you're a wrestling fan, please make sure you tune in to Worldwide Classic. We not sugarcoat nothing and we getting down to the bottom of everything. I'm batting 1,000% right now, and you should watch Worldwide Classic because it almost seems like the WWE is too.